Alrighty, and welcome to another video tutorial. This one I am actually going to be doing over collars, which I love collars, especially if you can do them right, if you can be really inventive. These are some pictures out of one of my favorite books to use, Pattern Making for Fashion Design, 4th edition. It is a pattern maker's Bible type deal. So, anyway, continuing on, these are some different collar shapes that the author has illustrated in her book, or included in her book, and we're gonna just scratch the surface of collars, and then we'll talk more in depth as, time goes on. So some of the first things we'll talk about: the neckline edge, the collar edge, the collar stand, and the roll line. Now, looking at a all-in-one type collar, these collars are collars that sew directly to the neckline edge and don't have a separate collar stand. Now this is the collar stand area, and this is just built into the design of the collar. And it will automatically stand up on the neck here, and then it will roll over at the roll line. So, and then looking over here now, depending on the width of this bottom edge of your collar, depending on that, and also in conjunction with the edge, your neckline edge, that will determine that will determine how high the collar stands on the neck. So something that has a shorter line on it, a shorter length on the collar edge, and something that is more curvy on the inside will make, or less curvy, excuse me, will make a higher stand. And then as you get to a more curvy and longer collar edge, you will get less stand until it almost lies right up against the neck. Okay. So now that will bring us to the differences in the collars. This would be close to a non-convertible collar, and then this would be closer to a convertible collar. And basically, this is the basic premise or idea behind why you have collars, that stand up higher, and that would be these. These have a higher roll or a higher stand, and then it rolls up higher. So that would be more like this one. And then non-convertible collars would be more like this one. So the more closely it is shaped like the neckline, it won't convert, which basically means when you open the collar, it won't stand up by itself. Now, a convertible collar, once you open it, it will be able to stand up. Once you open it and flip it up, it will be able to stand up by itself. So let's look at these terms over here on my old collar that I made for a different video. So hopefully the light doesn't get in the way. And this collar isn't perfect, by the way, but it'll do for now. So anyway, this is a great example of a convertible collar. This is your basic menswear type collar. And let's see, looking at this here, this is of course the collar edge. You see that this is the collar edge, all of this. Okay, but mainly this part. Okay, and then the neckline edge is of course this edge where the collar stand sews to the neck. Now, let me take these pins out of here so you can see. Now basically, going off of what the book said, most collars, and you will even find some old patterns that actually have this all together as one whole piece. Okay, but when you make a collar, I guess that is slightly more expensive looking and more expensive in actuality. It will have two separate pieces. So this will be a piece, the actual collar, and then this will be another separate piece. But like I said, you can find them together. And looking at this is a convertible collar because it stands up. So when you close it, it doesn't stay down. But if I were to take this and do it like that, you can see even though the collar's open and it doesn't stand like flip open, pop open or whatever, it's still a convertible collar because it will stand up by itself. The only way it's going to keep its shape is for it to be closed, and then it will have its complete shape. Now the Peter Pan collars and everything like that, those collars are usually non-convertible collars, and they sit really closely to the neck, and they don't have much of a stand at all. And from looking at the other thing, the reason why this is because this neckline edge is curved and is shaped more like the actual neckline. So when you're looking at the pattern for the neckline edge, it will actually look sort of like a semicircle, like how we were looking here. It will look like that. And this is what your basic shirt collar looks like. Okay. So that's the way you can tell the difference of that. And you can also decorate this and have this like scalloped edges, and make it as pretty or as ugly or whatever as you want. You can change the length of it, make it crazy. But I'm going to show you this really quickly before the end of this video. If we flip over a couple of pages, I can show you the main reason why different collars have the different stands. Now, if you have a collar that is all in one, like a Peter Pan or something, you can make different collar stands. And the main reason why, like I told you, is because this collar edge is longer on collars with a smaller roll. And on collars with a higher roll, it is the collar edge is much shorter. So if you look up here, this will kind of explain it a little more. This is your shoulder, and the more your front shoulder overlaps your back shoulder, the smaller the collar edge is going to be, or the shorter it's going to be, which means the more of a stand it's going to have. And then looking over at C, let's see. Okay, let me explain it like this. I feel like I'm being very, very complicated. Okay. So looking over here, if your collar, or not your collar, if your shoulders are to overlap a little bit more, then you're going to get a higher stand on your collar, because the neckline, the collar edge is going to be shorter, okay? So it's going to scoop like that, and it'll be much shorter. Now, when you look here, and you don't overlap your shoulders as much, you'll get something, first of all, the neckline will be shaped more closely to the normal neckline, whereas this neckline was not shaped close to the normal neckline. It was a lot straighter. So this one's more curved, number one, and then the shoulders don't overlap as much, so that is going to give you a very small stand, okay, and what they call a flat roll, or a 1/8 inch stand, which is, you know, kind of same difference, okay? So you look at all these here, and that's all the stuff we just talked about. So that's pretty much it. Leave me some questions and comments in the bottom. We'll be going over collars some more in the future, and we will actually go through making a basic collar draft. Okay? So anyway, talk to you later.